What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond Bill podcast. This is the podcast to help you become the most powerful, confident leader and coach you can be. And in today's episode, Caroline Morgan is back in the house.
Period.
Let's go. Welcome to the episode. How you feeling?
Like a wife.
Boom. Like a wife. Title of this episode. We actually are undecided on the title of this episode, but this is absolutely the episode that you need to listen to before you go into the year 2026, because we're going to talk about having extreme urgency. I had extreme urgency in Caroline and I's relationship. We were 2 weeks in the dating, and I told her I was going to marry her 2 times. One in the United States, one in the Philippines. Guess what? We're already married in the United States, and we're doing the Philippines in 5 weeks.
Crazy.
Talk about extreme urgency.
It's not even 5 weeks. It's like 4.
Crazy. In the last 12 months, though, what have we been able to do? What have we been able to accomplish on the backbone of having extreme urgency? Let them know.
Literally everything. So we moved across the country from Las Vegas to Tampa, and we moved into our dream apartment. We get to wake up and see the water every single day. And that was possible because we doubled the business. And not only did we double it in terms of revenue, we also did a complete culture clean out from staff to clients to culture, all of the above. When we got to Tampa, we started going back to church, which is like a 5-year full circle moment for me and like a whole life full circle moment for you. So that's been really cool. We got married. We're in a completely different financial situation, like personally, not just in terms of the business. What else?
Well, you and I both hired fitness coaches of our own.
Yes, we both work with mindset mentors.
Yep, also did that. Also a business mentor. We just
2.
recently, 2, but we recently just hired another one. And this is on the backbone of having extreme urgency in our lives, but...
And we got into the best shape ever, both internally as well as our physiques, and we traveled every single month.
Correct. And this all came from a place of being upset with the fact that we weren't traveling because we felt like we had to be tied to being at home in order to grow the business. And we couldn't spend time enjoying ourselves, enjoying our lives, because we hadn't earned it. And we didn't learn how to integrate working in productivity into traveling. We were unable to do that. And we just drew a line in the sand and said, hey, this is not the life that we want to live. If we can't do it all, if we can't experience the things that we want to experience, if we can't live the quality of life that we want to live, why are we even doing this in the first place?
It all? Yeah.
And why are we accepting this from ourselves? We thought the same exact thing about our physique goals and our bodybuilding goals. We laid them to rest because we thought that we couldn't push for physique goals, train really freaking hard, and live a physique development lifestyle that's really dedicated to the progress of our physiques while growing the business, because the business was too demanding. And then we were like, well, we're losing integrity with ourselves. We're no longer confident in our physiques. Like, this has to change. And everything just rippled and rippled and rippled. And then we had to clearly audit, who are we spending time with right now? Are they actually serving us? Or are they actually pulling energy away from us? We had to audit that very, very clearly. We looked at what we were accepting and tolerating within our company culture and within our coaching staff, within our team members. And it all came back to like, wow, we have really been tolerating mediocre outcomes, mediocre habits, a mediocre mindset, and a mediocre life for way too long. And we had a moment of unhappiness in all of those departments that led us to be so urgent. We've acted like we put a gun to our heads, basically, and we said, hey, we need to get the fuck out of living in the desert and accepting this quality of life. And by the time that we're in March of 2025, when this lease is up, we don't know ourselves. We want our business to be here. We want our coaching staff to be here.
We want to live here.
We want to live here. We want to be in front of the water, and we want to accept nothing less than that. And did we understand that that would pretty much double our rent? Yes, we totally understood that. But it's like, we have 6 months to put our foot on the gas. What needs to happen? Well, we hired a business mentor that same exact week that we realized that.
Immediately.
Right? Immediately. Everything started shifting. we started spending our time differently. We got back invested into our own bodybuilding goals. Everything shifted immediately. And then we started catching momentum. And as we were catching more momentum, we realized, wow, like this feels so good. We've been playing small for such a long time. And here we are now. We're telling you guys this because I'll give you this example. Literally in the DMs today, someone was messaging me and they're like, yeah, I would love to go fully online in my business. You know, I have big goals in my life and the time that I'm committing to in-person clients, it's just not going to work for me. You know, I'm limited from an income standpoint, you know, being in person and just doing this all day long. I'd love to build an online presence though. But is this individual actively pursuing building a personal brand? No, right? There's no urgency that's there. And I understand that there's a little bit of comfort, there's a little bit of a lifeline, right? Because it's like, man, if I go online, I'm gonna lose the financial security that I have from in person. And that financial security is really, really nice. And as long as you convince yourself of that, you're not gonna live your life with urgency. You're not gonna have a reason to pull up your phone in the middle of your day at your lunch break at personal training and talk about your life's lessons, talk about the day, talk about what you're learning, provide value, show up, inspire somebody, talk about your client that you're transforming in person and who they are becoming and how they are acting and the habits they're showing up with. You're not taking 15 minutes out of your day, maybe after dinner, before you go to bed, before you shut it all down, to record a quick podcast episode to talk about the progress that you're making right now, working all day long, trying to build your personal brand, trying to show up online while not missing on nutrition protocols, not missing on physique protocols. Too often in this world of coaching, people are accepting maintenance with their physiques, and slowly over time, they're getting a little bit busier. And I'd even argue that they're not even that fucking busy. Like, if we had a busy person contest, Caroline would win, okay? So don't even try to argue with this with me. I really don't think that coaches are as busy as they think that they are. Ultimately, things will feel more and more overwhelming when you see your health start to backslide, when you start taking less care of yourself, when you start seeing yourself gain a little bit more body fat. Then all of a sudden things start feeling overwhelming because then you see yourself moving in the opposite direction of where you want to move, and immediately you start telling yourself, fuck, life is just so hard.
Yeah.
You know, this is just so demanding. I can't take care of myself. And then we go into victim mentality, and the next thing you know, you do that for another 12 months and you're still exactly where you are. And you're still not building an online personal brand because you fucking can't when you're not taking care of yourself. You can't build an online personal brand when you're not making progress in your physique. You can't. And this is why we had a difficult time building our brand for 2 years straight.
So long.
For so long. We were just staying at the same place. Why? Because you and I were staying in the same place, hanging out with the same people, thinking the same thoughts, looking the exact same.
Trying to go viral.
And we did not grow as a byproduct of that. And I can promise you this one thing, especially in the month of December. Christmas is coming up, New Year's is coming up. You're going to be around friends, you're going to be around family that are asking you how the year went. And you're going to say, man, it's been so good. It's been hard, but it's been so good. Can you just, for a second, pause? Why do you have to go into it's been so hard? You know the reason why it's been so hard. You say it's been so hard because you know that you did not hit your financial goals. You did not hit the numerical goals, the revenue goals for your business. You did not build your personal brand the way you said you wanted to. You did not achieve your physique goal the way you said you wanted to. And you're accepting that. You're practicing acceptance. You're practicing gratitude in the month of December because of holiday cheer. And you're hiding behind that gratitude because you don't want to face the fact that you are not where you want to be. You don't want to face the fact that you said that you're going to be in this position by the end of 2025, but you are not. And that is a problem. And while Aunt Susie, it's Caroline's favorite little word to use, I'm stealing that from you. Well, Aunt Susie's going to be, I'm so proud of you. You've grown so much. While your mom and your dad are going to say, you know what? I don't know what it is that you're doing, but we love you, kid. We trust you. You just got to keep going. It's just a matter of time. But I still don't know what you're doing, but I'm just going to give you an A-okay. And you're going to take that and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this year. It's taught me so much. But you're still in the same exact position that you were in December of 2024. Why? Because nobody's telling you to actually get unhappy. On purpose, get unhappy with the outcomes in your life. Because urgency is not going to be created until you do get unhappy.
There's something that's so powerful about not necessarily having a rock bottom moment, but having a moment where you wake up and you look at all of the decorations that you've put up in your prison cell, of recognizing where you have settled for good enough, and the pain of that becomes so unbearable that you're like, holy shit, I have made my whole life so comfortable that I've stopped growing, that I've stopped pushing myself to achieve these larger goals that I actually have for myself, because I've been talking to people that just don't get it. And it's not for them to get it, right? Like, if you want to be different than the 99%, you have to stop expecting them to get it. You have to stop expecting them to be like, oh, you're still doing this entrepreneurship thing. That sounds like really hard. My 9 to 5 is like awesome. I have stability. I clock in, I clock out. Why don't you come do this? The more that you listen to them, the more that you're going to start to believe that. And the more that you're going to start to make decisions that are going to reflect that. I had those moments where we were struggling in 2024, and I was talking to friends and family, and I did start looking at jobs. I did start being like, oh, well, like, I'm already doing better than most people around me of going to the gym that often. I don't have to go to the gym right now. I'm already doing so much better because people were telling me that. So what I've learned is I only say certain things to certain people. I only talk about my goals and aspirations with the people that are in the position that I aspire to be in. I only consume the special types of content that I know are actually going to feed my brain. And to the other people, again, I don't like being a dick and being like, they suck, but like, I'm going to talk to them about certain things, and then other stuff that are just like kind of off the table, right? Like, I'm not actually going to bring those things to them, because that's all that Christmas and New Year's becomes, right? Is they're like, they don't have an Instagram, but they're like, fuck yeah, dude, you're doing it. Good job. But then you're like, but am I actually doing what I want to do right now? And as a society, as humans, we're so good at setting goals, right? Like, the human brain gets off on these dopamine hits, and that's what our whole society is built around. And that's what we get when we set goals and we start something new. And that's usually why people don't actually follow through on it after like even like a week, 30 days even, is because after that dopamine hit is over, now we actually have to go through on following through and completing it, right? But like, that's not what the addictive part is. And we do the same thing when we set goals. We never actually take the time to go back and reflect on how we're doing, to see if we're hitting our milestones, but also to evaluate our performance. And that's why at Beyond Built, I have implemented a weekly, a monthly, a quarterly, and a yearly cadence that we're always reviewing everything that's going on to see how we're performing, because like, setting the goals is awesome. But if we don't know how we're actually doing, that's where we slip up. And that's exactly why we wanted to make this podcast, is because you're going to go into next year and you're going to set New Year's resolutions. You're going to set goals. You're going to make the pretty vision board, and we're going to do it again. And I can say that this is the first year that I'm looking back on my vision board and everything that we set out to do. And he and I are both going to be like, fuck yeah, we did everything. And that feeling is priceless. And I want all of you guys to go into this next year and wrap up next year having that same feeling. And this is how you do it. You have to get so fucking honest with yourself about where you put up curtains in your prison cell. So honest with yourself about, where did I sell myself short, and where did I keep myself comfortable when I knew that I called myself forward. And you're going to get so relentlessly urgent with where you're going to start to say no, because usually the first step into doing something, we're like, oh my God, what do I need to do? But it's actually less of a doing and more of like, what do I need to stop doing? Because we only have 24 hours in a day, right? So you either choose to like not sleep, which is like, we tell you to not do that. That's exactly like against everything that we preach, right? So we're not going to ask you to do that. We're going to help you create space, which is getting more selective with what you're actually doing. Is this relationship that I'm spending a lot of time in, is it actually serving me? Like those conversations that I was having with those people, I talked to them a little bit less, but I talked to them more so about like their life, about other stuff, and we just move on, right? I'm not going to be actively spending so many hours there because it's not contributing to my overall growth. I'm not going to be actively participating in other behaviors like Netflix or TV watching. I'm going to be spending that time at the gym. So it's not about what do I need to add to my plate. It's about where do I need to trim the fat so that I create more space for the things that are actually going to move me forward.
It's also not just what you are spending time on, but also the shit that you are spending time telling yourself to the point to where you actually then and go believe it that is holding you back. Because at the core of your actions, your behaviors, your thoughts, your outcomes are beliefs. And until those are internally shifted and moved, nothing actually changes in your life. The mentor that we work with right now, one of my favorite things that I've ever seen him say is, mediocrity does not shout. It whispers, "This is fine," until you believe it.
Put that on my vision board.
You have to look at very transparently, very honestly, your fitness. First, we can start there. We'll tell ourselves, oh, it's fine if I train 3 times. Oh, it's fine if I train just 4.
But it's not.
Oh, it's fine
It's not.
if I just spend 40 minutes, in the gym, because that's good. I've paid my dues. I've gone far enough. I'm a coach, and I want to teach other people sustainability. I want to teach people balance. I want to teach people how they don't have to track their macros super diligently or perfectly, because I got a lot going on in my life, and this is what I do that works for me. But nobody gets called forward and nobody gets inspired by someone who lives in maintenance. 80% of your audience, 90% of your audience is in a state of problem unawareness, meaning that they don't even know that they have a problem. They don't see the lack of how they're showing up for themselves in their fitness as the reason why they're hanging out in relationships that are keeping them small. They don't see how they're showing up for their fitness as the reason that's keeping them small in their career. They don't see that. They don't see that. Why? Because you're not giving them a reason to believe any differently, because you're still in the same position that you're in your business. You're still hanging out with the same people that are keeping you small, because you aren't pushing for a greater goal in your own fitness. This all ties back. And so the bullshit that you're telling yourself to get yourself to believe is keeping you in the same place. When it comes to your team members, when it comes to your clients, when it comes to your staff, when it comes to the people that you hang out with, you're probably telling yourself, oh, I don't want to upset this person. I don't want this person to think differently of me. So you please them. You say yes. You do the things to keep the people in your life happy, comfortable. You don't want to rub them the wrong way. You don't want to make them feel bad. You don't want to make them feel insecure. You almost don't want to create this distance and this gap from the people that you're spending time with. Not only the people that you're spending time with, from maybe your clients, maybe your staff. You don't want to create this distance from them because you don't want to look like the odd person out. You don't want to get judged. You don't want to get pulled the wrong way. You don't want to let go or lose somebody in your life because you're moving down a different path. And so you'll tell yourself, I love this person. I care about this person. I want to see this person happy. I want to see this person win. But at what cost to you? At what cost to your vision? And at what cost to your goals? That's the shit that you need to delete out of your life. And until you look at these things very transparently and get that fucking honest with yourself, nothing changes. There is no urgency that is created. On purpose, you have to go and create discomfort. You have to go and create the chaos. I'm serious. You have to go and create the discomfort in your relationships and call everything for what it is. Where you're at in the business, where you're at in your content, where you're at in your social media, where you're at in your branding, where you're at in your marketing, where you're at physically, who you're hanging out with. You have to go and create discomfort, and you have to go get very clear on what you do not want to tolerate and what you cannot tolerate anymore if you want to get to the level that you want to play at. Because right now, we're in a room right now in our mentorship where we are told that we're playing small all the time. Do we get good jobs? Absolutely yes. Are we around other people that are challenging us every single day with the level that they are playing at? Yes. 2 years ago, we were around a group of people that made us feel like we were doing a good job because we were doing just enough as everybody else. We were doing just enough as everybody else to fit in, to be good with that. And I'm going to make a post about this, how I might make a podcast about this, We're in the era right now of not having friend groups, but having performance groups. We don't care. We don't really care to find comfort in a lot of like friendship and just doing things like that. We care right now to be around people who perform and who want more in their lives and who want to build, and we connect on that. And the level of intellectual conversation that we have in these environments are so massively valuable. And they allow us to move at speed, at pace. We're learning so rapidly from the people that are around us. And like the fact of the matter is, most people aren't going to resonate with that. Most people aren't going to resonate with this message. But if you're here at this point, I'm here telling you the things that I promise you nobody else is telling you in your life. You have to look back at your journal prompt from January 2025, where you were burning Palo Santo and sage and rubbing crystals together and sitting crisscross applesauce on what you said that you wanted to accomplish, and take inventory on what you did not do and why you did not do it and what the absolute bottleneck was. And that is the thing that you absolutely must go into 2026 with the goal of changing. I'm all for the goals, like you said. I want the actions. I want the behaviors. I knew for a fact that in order to get our business to this place, you've seen me do it, I had to not miss on an email, not miss on a story, not miss on a content post, not miss on a YouTube video, not miss on a podcast all year long. I saw those as the non-negotiable behaviors because that's one of the easiest things for me to negotiate. Oh, I just posted. Oh, people aren't going to know if I don't post. How many people tell that to themselves and settle for 2 posts a week and think that's going to be enough to grow their business? It's not. This is a multiple billion-dollar coaching industry now. What are you going to do to actually build an influential enough brand to stand out and build an audience and make you the person that people want to go and work with? You're going to have to go out there and live your life with extreme urgency because 99.9% of the people in the world do not. You have to be the one that breaks that pattern. 90% of the people in your audience don't even know that they have a problem. You can't live your life thinking that you don't have one yourself.
Period.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you got value from it, take a screenshot of it, put it on your story, tag Caroline Morgan. Caroline Biddle's still on, okay?
For now, sorry.
Yeah. We're waiting till the actual ceremony in the Philippines for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to get stopped at the border.
We haven't rebranded yet. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. I'm about it. I like it. Chad Morgan Fit. See you in the next episode. Go change your life, please. Thanks.